What is up, guys? It is Harley here, back with another video on the FPL Harley channel. It's episode 21 on the channel. Now today I'm going to be doing another buy, sell, keep and avoid, and now this one is quite different because this one you can't really tell what is going to happen in the quarterfinals. It's just like you can't predict what's going to happen. I mean, you couldn't really predict what was going to happen in the round of 16, but you had a general idea. But even that, I mean, France went out, Netherlands went out. A lot of people's fantasy teams are in the mud if you don't have a wild card right now. So I'm going to try my best to tell you guys which players you should buy, sell, keep and avoid. It's only 3 free transfers. The avoid bit is sort of, I guess avoid is keep them if you have them but don't buy them. And I mean buy, just keep them if you have them. And I mean, I'm not too sure. We'll figure it out once we get through the video. But we're gonna get into the first one straight in. We're gonna go straight in. The first one, the first player who you should buy, and that is Poulsen for Denmark. Now, Poulsen, he's been out with injury. He missed the 4th game, which was Denmark's 4-0 win against Wales. But in his 3 matches that he did play, he got 2 goals and earned a penalty for Denmark. Now, he was out for match day 4. Dolberg came in, and I think, did Dolberg score 2 goals? Dolberg scored 2 goals, one of them being from outside the box. So I'm not too sure if Poulsen will start, but I'm pretty sure if Dolberg does end up starting that game, you should go for him. And it's just a matter of if he's back from injury. I think if he's back from injury, he will replace Dolberg, no matter, regardless of Dolberg scoring 2 goals. But you should definitely bring Poulsen in if he is fit to play, and that is the first player who you should buy. Also, if you look at it, Denmark have the easiest draw out of everyone. You could argue that actually Czech Republic are arguably the worst team out of the 8 teams left. I mean, there's who's even close. I mean, Denmark definitely aren't. There's Switzerland, who I don't think aren't. Ukraine are a decent side. Yeah, I think Czech Republic are the worst team out of all 8 remaining teams. So Denmark essentially have the easiest draw, but Denmark aren't actually that great of a team themselves. They're a good team, but they're not as good as someone like Belgium, Italy, England, which would be a very easy draw for them. But for Denmark, I do think Denmark will win the game, which is another reason to bring him in. Out of the 4 teams in the semi-finals, I do expect Denmark to be left out of those last 4 teams. So you should definitely go for one of Dolberg or Poulsen for your quarter-finals team for Euros Fantasy. You should definitely use one of your 3 free transfers, because, I mean, a lot of people are taking -4 hits and making a 4th transfer because of the Netherlands. I mean, quadruple up on the Netherlands and they went out, double up on the France and they went out. It was a painful game week, and somehow the game week actually managed to finish on more points this game week for game week 4 than I did in game week 3 and game week 2. I got 63 points in the round of 16, and match day 2 was 62 and match day 3 was 50. So somehow, with all those players going out, I still managed to get more points than match day 2 and 3. But that is the first player who you should buy. The second player who you should buy, this one is a controversial one. It is Raheem Sterling for England. I am pretty sure Raheem Sterling is nailed on in the squad. I mean, if you look, his last 20 England appearances, he has 21 goal contributions. I mean, more goal contributions than matches played is just incredible. And then 3 goals in 4 games for England. England have obviously played 4 games and scored 4 goals, 3 of them coming from Raheem Sterling. So you can arguably say Raheem Sterling is England's main source of goals. I mean, I don't think Raheem Sterling has generally been that great in those 4 games for England. But he's got the goals, and that's what's most important. I mean, I think his general play as a whole hasn't been that great, but he has got the goals, which is all that matters. So, yeah, again, 3 goals in 4 games. Arguably an easy draw. I think Ukraine are probably the 2nd worst team. I mean, are Ukraine better than Switzerland? I think Switzerland are better than Ukraine, so I'd say Ukraine are the 2nd worst team in the whole competition. And England, I mean, from betting odds, England are now favourites to win the whole competition, so it's arguably an easy draw for England. So Raheem Sterling, I mean, I guess Harry Kane could be a decent one, but Raheem Sterling's a midfielder, and he's I think, is he like 2 million cheaper than Kane? I did bring Kane into my squad. If you watched the team selection video yesterday, which blew up by the way, and I mean I'm nearly on 600 subscribers, so make sure to like, subscribe if you haven't already. But Raheem Sterling is definitely going to come into my team. I think England will do well. I think England will make it to the finals, which means I mean, yeah, if England do, that's another reason to bring him in. If England do go ahead and beat Ukraine, they'll then play Denmark or Czech Republic, which again I think England will win that match as well. So that's a guaranteed, well not guaranteed, but most likely 2 matches that you're going to have these players with. So I think it's a good strategy to maybe triple up on English players. I've gone for Harry Maguire, Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane going into the quarterfinals. But that is why you should buy Raheem Sterling. And yeah. Now going on to 2 players who you should sell. The first one is Manchester City's Alexander Zinchenko. Now, he hasn't been that bad for Ukraine. He hasn't. But he's a defender. He plays in midfield for them, but he is registered as a defender. Even though he's registered as a midfielder, is he likely to get goals and assists against England? Probably not. I mean, leading into that, they have the hardest draw in the whole competition, arguably. Now, I would say they have the hardest draw in the competition because Belgium and Italy play against each other. You could say, if it was England versus Belgium, you could say England have the hardest draw because it's Belgium. Belgium are arguably the best team in the competition who are left, but it's 2 very good teams playing against each other in Belgium and Italy. So one of the worst sides left playing against England. England are probably going to win that game. They're unlikely to keep a clean sheet considering Zinchenko's a defender. I wouldn't include him in my team. You shouldn't in yours. But the situation with the players who you should sell, if you're going to use one of your 3 free transfers, you should probably take Zinchenko out if he's in your team. But the point is, I wouldn't take a hit to take Zinchenko out, and I wouldn't obviously bring him in my team if he's not already in it. And if he's not already in it, you definitely avoid him. But that is why you shouldn't take Zinchenko. I think he's got like a semi-high ownership as well. Like, I don't think he's not even that much of a differential. He is, have a little look, 6% owned. Yeah, it is quite a differential to be fair, but I think he's a player that quite a few of the top end FPL players have in their team and should probably get rid of. And if you are using your wildcard, definitely get rid of Zinchenko. The next player who you should sell is another Man City player. I think, is that the 3rd Man City player? I'm not sure. But it's Phil Foden. It is the 3rd City player because of Sterling, Zinchenko and Foden. But anyway, sidetracked. The second player who you should sell is Phil Foden. Now, he's not nailed on in the England squad due to Sterling and Grealish's performance. I mean, not even Grealish's performance. Saka started over Foden in the round of 16, so I think Grealish and Saka are both more likely to start over Foden in the quarterfinals. I don't think someone who didn't start in the quarterfinal, who didn't get any minutes at all in the round of 16 is going to start in the quarterfinals. Grealish, I think, will start. He did end up getting an assist in the 25 odd minutes that he came on the pitch for. I don't think Foden will get into the team. He may get subbed on, yes, but I don't think he is going to start this game, especially, like I said, after Sterling and Grealish's performances. And I think if Grealish or someone like that was to get subbed off, it would probably be Saka that came on. So Foden, I wouldn't bring him in my team. If he's, I don't know, I wouldn't sell him if you're not using your wildcard. If Foden's already in your team, I wouldn't use one of your 3 free transfers in getting rid of Foden. I'd just keep him in the team. But if you are using a wildcard, I would get rid of Foden. And those are the 2 players who I would sell. Now the first player who I would keep, one of the 2 players who I should keep, the 5th player in the video so far, is Romelu Lukaku. I would keep him in the team one of the reasons for this one's a very 50-50 option of whether you should keep or sell him. I wouldn't buy Lukaku if he's not already in your team, but if he is in your team, I would probably not sell him. I'd probably keep him, but it's very 50-50 of whether you should keep or sell, due to the fact that it's hard to predict who's going to win out of Belgium and Italy. Belgium are the favourites. I do, however, think Italy are going to win the game. But Belgium could lose the game, and then, yeah, he's gone instantly like that. And I think for quarterfinal team selection, it's not more who's going to get goals and assists on the night. I think it's more like who's going to end up winning the game. So that's why a lot of people are avoiding Belgium and Italian players for people who are using wild cards. Yeah, I'll say that again for if you didn't understand it. A lot of people would take players due to the fact that they have, well, not necessarily easy draws, but semi-easy draws that you think they'll get goals and assists. But I think now for the quarterfinals, you should take players based on whether they're going to get to the next round after the next round. So for England, they have an easy draw this round, and if they were to win, they would have an easy draw in the semi-final. Whether also Belgium, they have Italy, which is a hard game, and if they win against Italy, they'll have another hard game in Spain if Spain were to win. So I wouldn't bring in Lukaku in the team, but I would keep him if you have him in and you're not using your wild card. But if you're using your wild card, I would get rid of Romelu Lukaku. Another reason to keep him is that he is Belgium's best asset. He is the player most likely to get goals or assists for Belgium if they were to score goals. If Belgium need a goal, Lukaku's always there and he's going to get a goal. But the third point, which is very huge, and we'll get a better insight of this in the next couple of days, but it's whether De Bruyne is going to be injured or not. If De Bruyne is injured, I would definitely not include Lukaku in my team. If De Bruyne isn't injured, I would keep Lukaku. That's just how it is for me, and that is why I'm not decided, but I'd probably keep Lukaku. Now, the next player who you should keep in your Euros fantasy team is Luke Shaw. Now, Luke Shaw, I think, is more than likely to be nailed on in the England squad. I can't see him not starting at left back in the quarterfinals after his round of 16 performance. It was a brilliant performance. He played a solid role in both of England's goals. He is just, I mean, in my opinion, Luke Shaw, should be one of the first names on the team sheet. So I don't think he's going to get dropped for the quarterfinals. I mean, I may be wrong, but I'm 90% sure Luke Shaw's going to start in the quarterfinals. And England, obviously, with their easy draw of Ukraine and potentially another easy draw of Denmark, or maybe even Czech Republic, if Czech Republic maybe win against Denmark, which is unexpected, but it was unexpected for them to beat Netherlands. Everyone quadrupled up on the Netherlands players because they thought it'd be an easy game that Netherlands would win. Well, no, Czech Republic did end up winning the game. But Luke Shaw, going back to Luke Shaw, he's got good attacking output. I think he's likely to get a goal and assist against Ukraine. I think Ukraine play 5 at the back, and I think that is one of Luke Shaw's biggest strengths. When against a low block, Luke Shaw can get goals and assists. There are players that struggle against a low block, and players in general that struggle to break down a low block, but Luke Shaw can do it. He usually teams up with the left winger. By the way, the Shaw-Grealish link-up has been incredible for England so far. With the Luke Shaw, the pass and run, the get in behind that him and Grealish can do, I would definitely bring Luke Shaw in. He started, he didn't start the first game for England, but he started match day 2, match day 3, and round of 16, and in all 3 of those games, he kept 3 clean sheets in all 3. England in general have kept 4 clean sheets in 4 games. But Luke Shaw, 3 clean sheets in 3 games, and got an assist against Germany for the first goal. An incredible through ball. It was perfect. It couldn't have been a better through ball. But that's why I'd keep Luke Shaw in the team. A little bit of bias because I am English myself and a United fan, so I would be biased. But I think Luke Shaw's also one of those players you could buy. I mean, I would bring in an England defender going into this next round, and Luke Shaw looks to be a player who you could bring in. He is a high budget player though, so for a lower budget, maybe bring in Harry Maguire. Well, I'm not too sure what the prices are actually. Maybe John Stones, but I'd bring in an England defender. But if you're not using your if you're using your wild card, buy Luke Shaw if you don't have him already. If you're not, definitely do not sell Luke Shaw and keep him in. I mean, maybe even buy Luke Shaw even if you're not using your wild card, but that's why I'd keep Luke Shaw. Now moving on to the 2 players which you should avoid. Now these aren't necessarily players who you should sell if they are already in your team, but they're players who definitely do not bring in, and maybe do not even bring in if you're using a wild card. But the first one is Berardi. Now he's not nailed on in the Italy squad. I need to check who actually plays the first Euro match so we can see the lineups. I'm pretty sure it's Switzerland, Spain. Yeah, it is, so we can't even see the lineups, so I would just definitely avoid just to stay safe. But Berardi, he's not nailed on in the Italian squad. Like it says on the screen there, I wouldn't sell him if you already have him, but if you don't have him, I definitely wouldn't buy him, and I wouldn't bring him in if you're using a wild card either. 2 assists in 3 games is decent, but regardless of those, that stat there, I don't think he's going to be in the squad. I mean, I'm not sure. Again, it's 50-50 with whether he's going to start or whether he'll be benched, but he probably will be brought on against a big game like Belgium, but that is why I'd avoid Berardi. And on to the last player you should avoid. It's the last player in the video. It is Simon Kjaer. I would avoid Simon Kjaer because, again, it's 50-50 of whether they keep a clean sheet. Czech Republic, I mean, you'd probably, on paper, if you were to look at it, Denmark are probably going to win the game and they're probably going to keep a clean sheet, but Schick has been doing very well for Czech Republic, so I mean, I wouldn't count out a clean sheet. It could happen, so it's very 50-50. So based on the fact that it's 50-50, it's a risk, but I would avoid taking the risk. Again, I said this for Berardi. If Kjaer is already in your team, I wouldn't sell him, but if you're using a wild card, I wouldn't bring him in, and I definitely wouldn't buy him. Definitely not. But if Denmark win, obviously by betting odds, they'll most likely play against England, which Denmark, you never know, could make it to the final, but England by betting odds would be favourites to beat Denmark. So that's why I say target players who are most likely to get far, not to get goals and assists or clean sheets in the game, which leads into that. People that would bring in Kjaer because he plays against Czech Republic, which is arguably the easiest game, I wouldn't bring him in just because of that, because they play England next. Make sure you bring in players based on who they play next. So England, England might actually be a quadruple. I mean, you can actually, is it quintuple? I think it's sextuple. No, it is quintuple. You can now get 5 players from the same team. You could even do that for England, but you never know with England. But that is the video. If you did enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. I upload at 10 PM every single day. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.